Hey people, how's it going? Welcome to another video. Welcome to another episode of Albums Ranked. Today is a very special one. Today we are redoing my very first album ranked episode. Today we are tackling the Symphonic Kings NIGHTWISH. So they have a brand new album out, Yesterwind. It's been out for a month, roughly, September 20. It's now October 24. So we've had some time to dwell on it. We've had some time to listen to it. And I think it's time to re-rank all of NIGHTWISH's 10 albums, including Yesterwind, and see where it racks up in amongst the ones we love. Let me know down below what your favorite NIGHTWISH album is. Is it something old? Is it something new? Are you new to the band? Get the conversation going down the bottom. That's always a good thing to do. So yeah, without further ado, we got 10 albums to get through, so let's just get straight into it. Coming in strong at number 10, still the same as my last ranking. Number 10 for me is indeed Human Nature. This is nowhere near as great as anything that they've done before or after, for that matter. Yeah, I remember when this one came out. This came out on April 10, 2020, so it was right in the hype of all the lockdown stuff. So I was like, oh yeah, brand new NIGHTWISH, it'll be great. Well, guess what? It really wasn't. There are a few key standout songs on this album, don't get me wrong, like fucking the first song, is it Music? No, Noise, sorry. I don't have the album in front of me, so I'm guessing. Noise, that's probably the best song on the album. Pan is all right. Harvest was okay. Harvest was better than Pan, but it did have the massive 30-minute orchestral piece that all the works of nature which adorn the world. I don't hate that. I know some people do hate it, but personally I don't. I think it's beautiful, and the way the sections are broken up, I think it's honestly great. So yeah, not a good album in my opinion. I don't own it. I don't need to own it. I don't want to own it. But yeah, number 10 for me, Human Nature. Coming in at number 9 is actually an album that I think I had a little bit higher last time, and I genuinely feel bad chucking it this low, but unfortunately something has to go low. It just doesn't hit par with the rest of the albums. Number 9 is Wishmaster from 2000. So yeah, I remember when I first listened to this album, and I think I remember being blown away, but at the same time, it was the first time listening to the album, so it was very easy to think that. Having listened to it, after being a fan for 10 years or so, there's nothing amazing actually on this album. While it's fun to listen to, compare it to what's before and what's after, in my opinion, it's just a middle album. And I think it says that somewhere here. The right release at the right time. Having spectacularly defined their style with Oceanborn, NIGHTWISH now took things to another level. Defining a record that in addition, yeah, it's okay, so that praises it, unfortunately. Well, no, that praises it, unfortunately, it contradicts what I said. I'm pretty sure Thomas said that this was just it's a their album. It's an in-between one. However, there are some great songs on here. She Is My Sin and The Kingslayer are great. Wishmaster, the title track, absolutely fantastic. I remember that I first heard that off the album and I was like, oh, this is fantastic. And then Dead Boy's Poem is awesome, and Phantasmic is actually really great as well. That's one of the better album closers in my opinion. It's a fantastic song. It's really epic. It's about Disney songs, so yeah, I've always loved that one. But yeah, unfortunately, it falls for me. Number 9, Wishmaster. Number 8 is the new album, Yesterwind. Yeah, I thought it would go maybe a little bit higher, but let's be honest, after we've been listening to NIGHTWISH for as long as we have, it's going to be very hard to top those ultimate classic albums. Do you know what I mean? However, Yesterwind is a great album. It's definitely definitely grows on you after a couple of listens. It took me about 4 listens to really hit me with like, oh yeah, that's a cool song, that part's awesome. I was gonna do a tier list of this instead of a re-rank, but I just kept getting interrupted by my child, so it was like, you know what, let's do it now while we get the opportunity. Yesterwind is great. I bought this. This was great. I bought this here in New Zealand. I didn't have to get it imported, so that was always a plus. The album is supposedly the final album in a trilogy that's surrounding this whole biologist, human evolution type vibe. It started with Endless Forms and then continued with Human Nature, and now apparently it's ending with this one. So that's kind of cool. I'm kind of over the whole aspect of, wow, we're humans living at, like it was cool at first, but 3 albums later, it's like, nah. On this album though, the standout track for me is probably the second single, I think. An Ocean of Strange Lands. You know, there's that section, not quite in the middle, but like in the first half, that sounds like it's the epic chorus, but they don't repeat it. They only do it once. And I was just like, what? Why don't they repeat that? It's fantastic. They do repeat it, but they change the key of it, like typical Nightwish do. But yeah, The Day Of is a bit boring. I don't really like that one. Perfume of the Timeless is great. Sway is really, really beautiful. The Children of Utter, which I found out thanks to a subscriber, a commenter, that the spoken intro to that is Tongan. So that's pretty awesome. That's a bit close to home. Something Whispered followed me. Spider Silk, that's a cool one. I think Something Whispered is better. But I won't lie, side D is probably the most boring side on this album. Hereafter, The Weave, and Lantern Light. Lantern Light's probably the most nicest one because it lets Fleur really be the powerful vocalist that she is. But the other two just aren't amazing. So yeah, it's a good album. You know, I'm happy to own it, and yeah, maybe it'll climb over the time, but for now, I'm comfortable with it being Yes to Wine at number 8. Number 7 is Century Child. This album is awesome. This album really depicts a shift in the band's musical direction. So they've come from their early stuff where it's, you know, full-blown, like, they do symphonic and they do the power metal thing in the early stuff. You know, Nightwish, Oceanborn and Wishmaster are very powerful. Whereas this one is like the first one to have full-blown real orchestras. So it almost turns into that film score stuff that we're familiar with today. And it does great on it, honestly. This album is awesome. I had actually forgotten how cool this album is when I put it on. Bless the Child, a fantastic opener, real beautiful song from the Talia era of Nightwish. End of All Hope is great. The Bless the Child kind of fades in, and then End of All Hope just kicks off. That one's awesome. This is the end of all hope. Dead to the World is cool. That's a duet. I think that song is really, really nice. And of course, you've got Ever Dream on this album. Just side A in itself of Century Child is a pretty damn amazing effort, you know what I mean? And then Slaying the Dreamer, that's cool. The first time I heard that was off the Decades compilation that I bought. One of the first vinyls I ever bought, funny enough. Forever Yours. I've always loved Forever Yours. It's a bit it's very, very ballady. It's almost Disney vibe, but I think it's great. And then Phantom of the Opera and Beauty of the Beast is fantastic as well. Honestly, it's a great album. Shifts the sound from keyboards to orchestras, but yeah, it's really, really good. Number 7, Century Child. Now, number 6 is an album that's risen for me. I think I remember having this one at number 8 last year because I really wasn't a fan of it. And then I put it in my car. I have it on CD, not vinyl. And yeah, it's slowly creeping up. It's good. I've got appreciation for it. Number 6 is Oceanborn. I remember people roasting me for putting this one as low as I did last time. They're like, how do you put the definitive Nightwish album all the way down to bottom? And I was like, I just do. Get over it. It's risen 2 spots, so bear with me. It's slowly climbing. Another Talia album, obviously, this is the band's second offering, and the shift from debut to this one is outrageous. They go a lot more power metal-ish with the whole double bass, and the guitars are a lot more heavy, and there's, you know, chugs and stuff. It's great. Stargazers is a really, really fantastic opener. Gethsemane is a great song. I love that intro. Do-do-do-do-do. So cool. Devil in the Deep Dark Ocean, that one's great. The chorus in that is fantastic. You can't deny. Sacrament of Wilderness. Passion in the Opera with that part, that one's cool. Swan Heart, nice. Moondance, yeah, it's all right. The Riddler's fun. I do enjoy the Riddler. Yeah, the Pharaoh Sails to Orion, that name in itself, that's a real epic. Sounds like the album closer, but technically it is, but it isn't, because then Walking in the Air comes on next, which is that beautiful song from the Snowman clip, and then the Sleeping Sun song, which was written in retrospect of the 1998 Eclipse, I think. I remember that Eclipse as well. But yeah, it's a great album, don't get me wrong. It's a lot more powerful, like I say, very different from the debut. And if you like symphonic power metal type stuff, this is the album for you, definitely. So yeah, number 6, Nightwish, Oceanborn. Number 5 for me, the debut, Angels Fall First. I love the debut. If you know anything about me, you know that I've got a soft spot for debuts. I love to really appreciate debut albums and hear the band at their earliest, at their primest, at their most vulnerable, and just like really hear what they wanted to do while they were getting started. This one is a very simple album. It's a very simple album cover, and yeah, it's more stripped back, it's more basic, but I freaking love it. I won't lie to you. Elven Path, Beauty and the Beast, The Carpenter. 3 fantastic songs, especially Elven Path. I think Elven Path is so damn good. I prefer Beauty and the Beast to The Carpenter, but The Carpenter is still awesome. The Beauty and the Beast duet thing, I think it's great. Astral Romance, that's fun. The Angels Fall First title track is awesome. And then you get Tutankhamen, the song about the mummy. That's just, their opening riff to that, I think, is so good. The opening riff, though, the rest of the song is a little bit boring, but the opening riff is awesome, and the vocals are great on it. And then side 3 does fall apart a little bit, I won't lie. Nymphomaniac Fantasia, but Know While the Nightingale Sleeps is honestly one of the coolest Nightwish riffs I've ever heard. It's so good. I love that song. It's so happy, and it's just great. And then Lapland is boring, for a better word, in my opinion. But yeah, number 5 for Nightwish's debut, Angels Fall First. It's so fantastic. If you're a fan of Nightwish and you haven't heard the debut, I highly recommend you go check it out. But don't expect anything elaborate and amazing about it. It's very stripped back and it's very simple, but it's great. Number 5, Angels Fall First. Number 4 is Once. This one has been going around in my car for like the last 2 weeks because it's just that good. Again, another album that I don't really play a lot, but yeah, after playing it for that long, this album is great, honestly. This one has a lot of famous Nightwish songs on it. Dark Chester Wonders opens up this album, which might just be one of the best Nightwish openers of all time. I think it's so good. It just gets straight into it. It's amazing. I Wish I Had an Angel is good, but it's probably one of my more least favorite songs off of this album. Nemo. Absolutely beautiful song. The key change at the end, the piano at the start, it's typical Nightwish. You love that song. Planet Hell is a great song. I love Planet Hell. I think that might be my favorite on the Once album. It's honestly so good. And then you get into a bunch of stuff that only probably the diehards have, bothered to check out. Creek Mary's Blood is a long song with a flute in it. That's great anyway. The Siren is catchy. The guitars in that, it's so cool. It's got that constant drive through it. It's awesome. Dead Gardens is probably the weakest song on this album, but it's great. And then you get hit in the face with Romanticide, which I first heard thanks to the Showtime Storytime live show from Wacken. That's great. Ghost Love Score is on this. It's always so much better live, but the studio deal still does a good job of it. Anyway, and then this one that I can't say, Kualema Teke Taitelalien Finish Something. That's a nice song. The melody in it is too. The melody in it is great, even though I can't sing it, but it's still fantastic. And then Higher Than Hope, that's a great song too. Honestly, it's literally like an 8 out of 11 album. It's so amazing. If you haven't heard Once, I don't know what you're doing. Go listen to it. That's number 5, Once. Sorry, that was number 4, Once. Number 3 is the other album that I don't own, and it fucking sucks because I love this album. Number 3 is Dark Passion Play from Annette. Talia has left the band, Annette has entered the band, and I've got no problem with Annette as a singer. I think she's great. Dark Passion Play is a dark, heavy Nightwish album. With the departure of Talia, I feel like the band were in a bit of a, odd period for them, and it obviously shows. So, yeah. What off the top of my head, what's on it? What does it open with? It opens with, what does it open with? It opens with Poem and the Pendulum, the Poem and the Pendulum, the Poet and the Pendulum. That's great. Bye Bye Beautiful is awesome. So I'm just going to ramble them off. Sahara, Eva, for the Heart I Once Had. Cadence of the Last Breath, Last of the Wild, 7 Days to the Wolves. Honestly, just fantastic stuff. It's a great album. It's dark, it's heavy. Yeah, go listen to it if you haven't. That's number 3, Dark Passion Play. Number 2, Endless Forms, Most Beautiful, and honestly, fantastic, amazing, beautiful album. I remember when this came out, March 15 or 13-ish, 2015, I was in Australia when this came out, and god damn was I excited. Flora is now a permanent member. This is her first album with her on vocals, and it's just amazing. Everything from the opening song, although having said that out loud, the opening song is not my favorite, but it's still fantastic. Shut Up Before the Beautiful is just, yeah, it's cool. However, Weak Fantasy and Elaine, they're great. Yours Is an Empty Hope is damn awesome. That one is just, it's weird. You hear the growls in that song and you think, wow, Marco's growling, and then you realize, no, that's Floor growling. It's insane. Decades in the Sun, the ballad, obviously, there's always a ballad with her. Beautiful stuff. My Walden, the I Want My Tears Back kind of part 2 with the folk pipes and whatnot. And then, yeah, Endless Forms, Most Beautiful. Edema Rue, Alpenglow, The Eyes of Shabat Gula is probably the only song that I would take off the album. That dumb instrumental, I really don't like it. And then, obviously, The Greatest Show on Earth. The Greatest Show on Earth. 24 minutes of just epicness. Does it warrant 24 minutes? Probably not. I'm sure they're only doing what what Dream Theater did, you know, with the whole 24-day hour before it repeats type thing. It's not the same vibe, but it could have ended after the We Were Here section with this which is in about 17 minutes, I think. But yeah, honestly, it's a fantastic album. It's great. The artwork in here is just ridiculous. It's beautiful. But yeah, it's a fantastic album. Go listen to it. Number 2, Endless Forms, Most Beautiful. Which means for me, everybody, number 1 is still the same number 1 as it was and always will be. Imaginarium from 2011, Annette's second album. This is the album that I first heard from the band. This is the album that put me on to pretty much symphonic metal as a whole. This album is fantastic. The whole story behind it, everything, literally everything on it is just perfect. I could go on a full tirade about it, and yeah, it's just amazing. Taika Talvi, the cute little music box opener, is fantastic all the way through to Story Time. Perfect singles. The first Nightwish song I ever heard, which is why I have such a soft spot for Annette. She has such a fantastic song, and it's just great. Ghost River, awesome. That riff and the chorus is just great. Slow Love Slow, didn't like it at first, but then it grew on me. The little jazzy thing, I think it's absolutely amazing. I Want My Tears Back, which is pretty much Iron Maiden's Dance of Death, but it's still amazing. It's so cool. Scare Tale is that squealing pigs, and that's just awesome. Arabesque is just fantastic. A lot moodier and slower. I want Turn Loose the Mermaids. Acoustic, nice little beautiful thing. It's just awesome. It's so nice. Rest Calm, probably my one more I think at the bottom, but it's still a great song. The Crow, the Owl, the Dove, that's just amazing. And Last Ride of the Day, come on guys, Last Ride of the Day is just phenomenal. Everybody knows it. I don't need to talk about it. Song of Myself, the big 12-minute epic that's broken up into how many parts? 4 parts. And then you get the Imaginarium's orchestral score. I think it's just amazing. It's fantastic. You will never change my mind about Nightwish creating a better album. This is the definitive Nightwish album for me, and it will be forever. It's like top 3. I think it's number 3. I think it's number 3 of my albums of all time. So yeah, number 1 for me, Imaginarium. Always will be, and yeah, that won't ever change. Sweet as team, thank you so much for hanging out with me while I sit here and get increasingly more passionate about Nightwish albums. Like I said at the start, which one is your favorite album? Are you like me, you got a soft spot for Annette, or are you a diehard Tyre fan? Or are you a weirdo that has Human Nature all the way at the top? Let me know, we'll have the conversation going, and it will be good fun. Thanks for hanging out with me, team. Keep an eye out for the next ranking. Hopefully it's a spooky one before the month of October ends, but until that happens, everybody, stay inside, stay safe, jam Nightwish. I'll see you all in the next video. See you later.